Make allowance for each other's faults. Forgive anyone who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. These words of Paul are rattling around in my brain. I bet you're sick of hearing me talk about them, because forgiveness is a hard thing. It's a difficult thing. It's an ongoing thing. Forgiveness means to determine exactly what the person who hurt you, what they owe you. You figure out what they owe you, and then you determine in your heart and in your mind to cancel the debt, that they don't have to pay you back, and that you're not going to seek to make them pay you back ever again. It's canceled. It's forgiven. And there's a couple of problems with that, maybe some myths that you have to remove from your thinking in order to truly forgive. And we talked about one yesterday, that forgiving and forgetting, that forgetting is not required to forgive. And today I want to talk a little bit about restoration, because a lot of people believe that if I've really forgiven, then the relationship will be restored, that it will be fixed. And if I have not forgiven, then that's evidenced by the fact that the relationship is still broken. There's still hurt feelings there. And the truth is that forgiveness does not restore relationships. It doesn't fix everything in broken relationships. There's one exception, and that is the relationship you have with your Heavenly Father. Forgiveness is what fixes that. It's what sets you right. He cancels your debt through His grace, and now your relationship with Him is restored. But that's not the way it works with your human relationships. In fact, you might need to forgive someone who's not even alive. I talk with people all the time who are still carrying a grudge from a family member who hasn't been around in years, died many years ago, but they're still bitter and they're still expecting somebody to somehow pay their debt. The best thing for you to do is forgive and move on, be done with it. And even though they could never ever pay you back, and even though the relationship may never be restored, certainly won't if they're gone. Then there's this other idea, this other concept, that sometimes you need to forgive for you, but then put a lot of distance between you and the person who hurts you. In fact, restoring the relationship might be the worst thing you could possibly do. It sounds harsh, but there are many toxic people in the world, and sometimes to continue to put yourself in their path to maintain a relationship that is going to be hurtful, that is going to be damaging, that's going to even be abusive, maybe sometimes the best thing for you to do is forgive so that you're set free, and then put a lot of distance between you and the person who's toxic or continues to hurt you. It may not restore a relationship, and that's okay. You have to have boundaries around your life, and just because you've forgiven does not mean you have to allow yourself to be a human doormat and just be hurt over and over and over and over again. It is okay to set up boundaries, to not allow people to hurt you or people you love anymore. There's several people in my life that I've just had to forgive and then not have a relationship with them anymore. Just trusting that one day, maybe in heaven, God will fix everything, we'll be okay. But here on earth, there's too much continual damage, and that I don't want to place myself or the people I love in their path. And so I forgive them. They don't owe me anything. They don't owe me an apology. They don't owe me money. They don't owe me an explanation. They don't owe me anything. The debt is canceled, but I don't have to be in a relationship with them. So as you think about forgiveness, also think about the health of your relationships. Think about, learn to recognize toxic people and repeat offenders who are never ever going to change unless God does a miracle. You get to just choose. You get to choose what kind of relationship you have with them. And sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is forgive, move on, and then move away. Move away from that relationship. Don't expect it to be restored. Hope that it is, but don't expect it to be. Sometimes relationships here on earth cannot be restored. And sometimes the best thing for you is to remove yourself from a situation where you are constantly being wounded, hurt, abused. Be forgiving, but move away. Hope that helps today. Let's be forgiving people and make room for each other's faults. Why? Because that's what Jesus did for us. He forgave us, so we must forgive others as well. Bye.